This is a crucial check-in point where you really need to make sure that you're keeping up with where you should be, especially in terms of thinking in Spanish. We may not know very much vocabulary yet, but what we do know are most of the structures and a lot of the grammar. And that actually is a much bigger deal than you might think. The most important thing that you can do for yourself right now, besides making sure you know all the words in the memory palace up to this point, is to practice the most important Spanish phrase structures until they're second nature. Unfortunately, we've found that this is the aspect that's most neglected by Spanish students, and it's very difficult to catch up if you're behind on this. So in this quick video, we'll demonstrate how you should be practicing with just a few key sentence structures. Let's look at this sentence. I got really lonely. This is an example you've been presented with before as estuve muy lonely. Even if we don't know the word for lonely, and we don't know too many nouns that we can apply this to, we can modify this to other people. For example, if we wanted to say, my brother got very lonely, we would just change that to, mi brother estuvo muy lonely. That follows the same structure, but we've added a noun in front of the verb. We can also change the adjective that's being used at the end, and we can change the tense to estoy muy happy. So you see that all that we're doing is we're continuing to rely on this basic sentence, estuve muy lonely, but we're modifying it slightly and confidently by changing the person or the adjective or the conjugation of the verb and just sticking to this basic sentence structure that we have memorized. Now for this next sentence. I'm not lonely, but my brother is. This is pretty idiomatic. When you're emphasizing my brother is at the end, you put the lo before it. My brother is that way is essentially what you're saying, and in Spanish it's named. So our sentence is, no estoy lonely, pero mi brother sí lo está. Remember to emphasize learning just this sentence, no estoy lonely, pero mi brother sí lo está. We're going to make slight modifications to this sentence, but we'll always go back to the original and emphasize learning that one. So let's switch out the no and the sí. In Spanish, those are exchangeable. So, sí estoy lonely, pero mi sister no lo está. Now let's go back to the original. No estoy lonely, pero mi brother sí lo está. Okay, one more modification. We can put this in the past tense, and we'll again switch out the no and the sí to emphasize that those are exchangeable. Sí estaba lonely, pero mi mother no lo estaba. Again, emphasize the main sentence, no estoy lonely, pero mi brother sí lo está. And you'll be able to modify it to those other sentences pretty confidently. All right, let's move on to some sentences that use the subjunctive. I want you to be here today. This follows the structure, I want that you be here today, kind of like I hope that you be here today. So our basic sentence is, I want que estés aquí today. We can also change that to, I hope que estés aquí soon. So you see that that adverb at the end was changed as well as the verb at the beginning, but the subjunctive is still subjunctive because we're expressing intention within this que phrase. I want que estés aquí today is our basic sentence. We'll modify it one more time. I order que esté aquí tomorrow. In other words, I'm ordering him to be here tomorrow. I order que esté aquí tomorrow. But it still follows the same structure and the same grammar as I want que estés aquí today. Make sure that that sentence is second nature. Our next basic sentence is, I did it in order that you should be here. Lo I did para que estés aquí. So, I did it for you to be here is how we would probably translate that, but the structure is, in order that you be here. So, lo I did para que estés aquí. Now, of course, we can change the persons that are affected by this without changing the grammar at all. We'll just change it to, lo he did para que yo esté aquí. And you'll see that I added the subject, yo, to be clear that it's I that be here. He did it in order that I be here. Lo he did para que yo esté aquí. But then we'll go back to the original because that's the one that we really need to memorize. Lo I did para que estés aquí. Now let's go to some unconjugated forms and show how those can be switched out. Being at home is awesome. Since we're treating being at home like a noun, as if saying the house is awesome, this is going to be the infinitive. Estar en home es awesome. That's what it is. Being at home is awesome. Now, of course, we can change the first phrase to something else. Estar aquí era awesome, changing it to the past tense. So you see that it follows the same structure, estar something, and then ser something. But we changed it to the past tense. Being here was awesome. Estar aquí era awesome. The next modification is being well would be awesome. Estar bien sería awesome. But then we'll go back to the original. Estar en home es awesome. That's the one that we need to memorize. Now, to emphasize the fact that estar is exchangeable with a noun, let's use the noun that we know, todo, everything. So we can change estar en home to todo. Todo es awesome. Everything is awesome. All right, one more sentence structure, and here's the sentence that you want to memorize. I did it in order to be at home. Lo I did para estar en home. Now, of course, we can change that. We can change the person, he did it, and then we can change the infinitive to show that estar could be switched to ser, although that changes the meaning. So, for example, lo he did para ser the winner. But then we want to go back to the original again. This is the one you want to memorize. Lo I did para estar en home. As another point, remember that this is practice that you should be doing on your own as much as possible and then reinforcing in your conversations with your coach. Obviously, you'll be getting practice like this when you're in those conversations, but the best learning happens between sessions, not during conversation. At the same time, those focused conversations with your coach are obviously essential for helping you see how effective your study has been between sessions. So do as much of this as you can in between sessions and then apply it in real time when you meet with your coach, and you'll soon be ready to learn a lot more vocabulary that you can integrate into these sentences to say anything you want to say in Spanish.